toasting, joking too. Sipping and roasting is what we do. Light 'em up, drink 'em down. Whiskey and cigars all around. Cheers, y'all.
Party just about to happen, ladies.
No, it sounds like maybe I was at a party last night.
Yes, it does.
Kind of sounded like. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this fine radio program, podcast, and video extravaganza, known internationally as the world-famous Smokin' and Toastin'. It's show number 468. We are all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And today, we are drinking for the culture.
And it's delicious.
It sounds like a noble pursuit, but really it's just really good beer. Because we're on location.
Glad to hear that.
For the Culture Brewing in Houston. You can see their logo behind us if you're doing the video version of the show. And we are in the big room, I guess, close to the taps, which was important. When they asked, where do you guys want to set up? The first thing I said was close to the taps.
Yes.
So we wanted to be, in the range where we could refill as often as we needed to. And I have a feeling we're going to be doing plenty of that today because these guys have got some great beers. We'll be talking about it. Ian, why don't you introduce our guests on the program today?
So today we have Carl Roaches, correct?
Correct.
And what is your position here?
I'm one of the co-owners.
One of the co-owners for the place. Now, how long has this place been open now?
We have been open 2 years and I guess almost 6 months now.
Yeah, I've been introduced to it from our friend Jerry over here, who's been on the show a few times with talking about homebrew and stuff.
Yeah, he's the guy with the crazy ant beer.
The ant,
yes. In case you missed that show, he has beer made with ants.
Go back and look up the ant beer episode. But and so you've done collabs here,
yes,
and brewed with and had your brews on tap here as well.
Yes,
that's a really cool way to do things.
And we should mention, if my information is correct, that For the Culture Brewing was the first black-owned brewery in the Greater Houston area. Is that right? Yeah, which is very cool. We're always thrilled to see more diversity, especially when it's people who have great concepts about different beers or whether it's cigars, or we've had a number of kind of groundbreakers on the show that have been involved in broadening the culture when it comes to craft beer.
I love the name For the Culture Brew.
Yeah,
it's
really cool. And
the bigger thing is the umbrella is Craft Culture X. So there's actually two breweries in this brewery. You have Ovenic, which is a woman-owned brewery, and For the Culture, which is Carl and his group. And everybody has done a damn fine job of really putting together some really good beers.
So how does it work with two breweries in the same location?
Well, for us to make sure that we're comporting with all the numerous laws, the reason why you hear Craft Culture X is because that was our workaround, if you will, to be able to brew in conjunction with our sister brewery and not have to do the very annoying task of like an alternating proprietorship, which would be when we brewed, we'd have to open up our books, get ready to see what we're going to make. They would have to close their books, pay their taxes, and then vice versa the moment that it was our turn.
Glorious, yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And so for us, it made sense to create an umbrella. That way we could promote both breweries as well as be in operation, but all the taxes are paid under Craft Culture X, reports, etc.
So, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but whose beers are better?
Well,
having had some of both, I think they have very different personalities.
Yeah. The beauty here, unfortunately, the Ovenic brewer suffered a stroke prior to our opening, and so what we claim is that, hey, these are recipes inspired by the different breweries. So certain recipes you'll see up there, they'll be inspired by Ovenic, some by For the Culture. But the gentleman, one of the co-owners For the Culture, a guy named Miguel, he brews everything. And as Jerry has become one of our, most esteemed customers, and because of his love for brewing, he actually has come to not only do his own small batches, he'll help Miguel as well. So he's just become just as knowledgeable with the brewing system and cranking stuff out, even as Miguel. And so that's been kind of our workaround. So when you say which one is better, can't really say, because it's legitimately being made collaboratively in this.
That was very diplomatically stated. You did.
People keep telling me I should run for office, and I have no stomach for it. No way.
It's all done with a deep passion and a love for brewing.
If you do wind up running for office, and I would certainly vote for you, but I would kind of basically take and appropriate the old saying. Remember what presidential candidate was it? This was a chicken in every pot. Oh, yours should definitely be a beer in every glass. A beer in every glass. I think that would be a winning campaign strategy as far as I'm concerned.
And ease up some of these out of control. We want to raise the taxes of the permits every year, and stop squeezing these businesses so hard.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that. I think it's tough enough launching a small business. Without having to hurdle some of these onerous restrictions and stuff. But I am glad, though, to see that even though we're in a time, we'll talk about this a little bit later in the show, even though we're in a time when there are a lot of struggles and challenges for brewers, especially smaller brewers, although the big ones are struggling too. But I think it's worth celebrating when somebody's got this kind of, because what it really comes down to is how is the beer. Right?
Absolutely.
Marketing is one thing, and all of the business sides of it are another. But if the beer is great, then that's the perfect starting point.
And also, do I have to swim past 13 IPAs to find one amber or
you know what,
or Scotch ale or something that I like?
Here we are on a show celebrating diversity, and the first thing that you do is start running down a style that you're not as fond of. See, that to me seems a little prejudiced and a little
open, man.
Yeah,
for the culture.
No. That actually, to Ian's point, that actually was one of the things that we wanted to make sure did not dominate.
Yeah, I get
our
it.
tap list,
and I get it. I understand IPA is the most popular style of craft beer, and that some breweries lean into it very, very heavily, but. I don't think there's need for name calling, and I don't think that an exclusionary approach is the way.
Got personal, real quick.
Well done.
Yes.
So what you're saying is you'd rather there be all IPAs?
No, I didn't say that
all the time.
No,
right?
I didn't say that. Although it does.
You just wouldn't complain.
I did have a dream like that once, and it was lovely. But no, that's not.
And then all these IPAs were blondish in the glass,
little hazy.
Little hazy, yeah, I get it. I get it.
One can dream, but no, I'm.
So you like hazy blondes?
I do. It's not a thing. I promise. No, the reality is that to me, diversity among the styles and stuff is what kind of keeps everything rolling. So yeah, I don't want it to be just IPAs, but I don't have this sort of mental block against them the way that some people who are on some shows that talk about beers do. And I'm not going to single anybody out, but I'm pointing at Ian.
I'll be the bad guy in this one. I'm going to start boycotting IPAs.
That's but see, I keep bringing on ones that you like, and that's made your IPA boycott more difficult.
Not all IPAs are bad. It's the people who like them.
That's good to know. We'll put a bow on it right there. Because we are doing it for the culture today. We're drinking for the culture. In addition to beers from For the Culture Brewing, we'll also be sampling, and I can already tell that someone's been sampling this bottle that Ian brought. This is a Heaven Hill Grain to Glass Rye. Where'd you get?
Now, you guys know this if you listen to my show at all. If I bring a rye home, my wife's getting it. Mm-hmm. She loves rye whiskey.
I would say that, judging by the contents of this one, you were able to somehow hide it at least for a while.
Well, she's really good. If I tell her I'm going to bring it on the show, she'll leave it alone, and then when I bring it home from the show, it's all bets are off.
Yeah, I've noticed, by the way, that
then its evaporative qualities show up pretty quickly.
Well, I've noticed, by the way, that as the show has progressed and gotten into the 400s in terms of episodes, that if I bring a whiskey on the show, I seem to be taking it home a little emptier than I used to back in the day.
Same here, except for when I brought that Bardstown rye, which was so freaking hot.
Oh my God! Yes, we were all taking tiny sips. It was like one splash of whiskey, several splashes of water. But it was
pretty hot.
It was good. It was good. On the show today, we will be bringing you a couple of our more popular segments, including the most popular segment on today's program, or any Smoking and Toasting program for that matter, which is the drinking news segment. And today's drinking news teaser headline. It's a simple one today. The return of the Florida Report. I know you'll be looking forward to that.
I was expecting the return of the Mac.
Yeah. Well, I'll be back. So,
Thanks, Martin Morrison.
Return of the Mac. That's a great song, bro. So catchy. Sometimes that gets in my head.
I know.
And
I was watching a YouTube thing about that guy. Apparently, he has some anger issues. And
imagine that.
And he was in jail. Or
Was he signed to Bad Boy 2 or something?
Yeah.
And he got out long enough to do that song, and then had
got
more anger issues and went right back in.
Oh, no.
So you can imagine out in the exercise yard at the prison, people will be going up to him and go, "Aren't you that Return of the Mac guy?" Yeah, it's me.
Mac returned.
We'll also be bringing you the drunken fact. In fact, I'm not sure when we do these on location shows. I don't have a clock in front of me, so I have no idea, Terry, how much time we have left in this segment. All right, we might get. I'll give you the teaser headline for the drunken fact. It's come on now, kids, eat your McBroccoli. And we might as well just get into
scary.
it. We might as well just get into it. So, Terry, I know you don't have the reverb effect when we travel, but maybe you can put it on in post. Let's do the drunk.
And now it's time for another Smoking and Toasting Drunken Fact.
Drunken Fact is where we bring you a fact that is true. We know it is because we found it on the internet. And the Drunken Fact is perfect for you to kind of like remember. And then the next time you're at a party, or maybe you're out here at For the Culture Brewing and everybody's enjoying themselves and getting a little happy and making sure they've got the Uber app fired up to get home, you can drop one of these factoids, drop some knowledge, as it were, and impress the people around you. So today's Drunken Fact begins like this. We all know that the McDonald's McRib sandwich is not actually pork ribs. We don't know what it is.
I mean, it looks like pork ribs.
There's actually a lawsuit right now against McDonald's that's claiming there's no pork in your McRib. We'll just have to see how that comes out.
Oh, there's
But it's
no
not.
pork
It's
in
not
my...
called. It's not called a pork McRib. It's just called a McRib.
Exactly.
It can be in anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
This is kind of like there's no cat gut guitar strings.
We've discussed that before the show started. And but what I will say about McDonald's is, while it's well known that there's not actually pork ribs in the McRib, what's not as well known is that McDonald's once invented broccoli that tastes like bubble gum. The idea was to encourage kids to eat healthier. Unfortunately, it only made them confused and was an abject failure.
I could just see that coming.
Yeah.
This is not good.
I love the mentality of it. It's a cereal mentality. We'll just add sugar to it. Kids will buy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, exactly. If we could find a way to make the broccoli really unhealthy, maybe kids would eat it. That's kind of the way it.
This bubblegum is not so chewy.
Yeah, and when we talk about, sometimes we'll get a bubblegum note in like a whiskey or something. It's not quite the same as broccoli that tastes like bubblegum.
Definitely.
And I'm wondering, what did they put on it to make it taste like bubblegum? Was it that sugary substance that's on top of the
all I can think
The
about
logical step is to also have bubble gum that tastes like broccoli.
Well, no, see, that goes straight back into Willy Wonka. Remember the one piece of bubble gum that she was able to try, and she's like, it's a full Thanksgiving dinner. Ooh, I taste mashed potatoes. Ooh, now I taste the turkey. And it went through the different flavors. That makes more sense than broccoli that tastes.
By the way, speaking of Willy Wonka, is it just me or is Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka one of the scariest things you've ever seen in the
Yes.
movie? That
No argument.
Wow. I mean, I like Johnny Depp, but wow, that's
I mean, Gene Wilder was great, but Johnny Depp just puts a whole nother level.
Yeah,
It's all about Tim Burton.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
It's all about Tim
leave it
Burton.
to Tim Burton. Yeah. Absolutely.
Things got a little dark on that.
For sure. We'll also cover a few things on today's show, depending on how many beers we drink. We'll even give you some more cigars to watch for. And I guess, Ian, I'll wait on this, but I do have an article, and I've been excited to go over this with you. According to Esquire magazine, the best IPAs of 2025.
Perfect.
So maybe we'll get to that. Maybe we
I
won't.
can tell you some good ones.
But we will take a break here and be right back. We're on location at For the Culture Brewing in Houston. This is Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back, my friends. It's Smoking and Toasting. We are smoking and drinking for the culture at For the Culture Brewing on location in Houston, Texas, in the Heights area. And speaking of smoking, Ian, what are you smoking there?
Master Blends 3
Oh, from Oliva.
from Oliva. Yes,
That's a
because
wonderful
they're
cigar.
so good.
And they're relatively inexpensive.
Yes, they're not super pricey. And if you find them, like I find them online sometimes, I find a sale on them. So this was the Robusto. And,
Right.
And it's just like my favorite size in the Master Blends is the Churchill.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about that size that makes it just golden.
Yes, I agree.
But this is another shade of gold.
Another shade of gold. I like it. Very good. I'm
Deeper
smoking.
shade of gold.
I'm smoking a Crowned Heads La Imperiosa, which was given to me by my buddy Jim Heim, who's been on the show
Nice.
before. And it's lovely. It's got a definite earthiness to it, and I'm going to see how it goes with the beers that we're doing here. Before we get to the beers, though, because I want you to have that to look forward to, and I don't know how much you're going to like this. It's time for the beverage of mystery. So,
Beverage
Terry,
of mystery.
we'll leave room here for the.
I'm not sure what cigar Ian gave me here, but this is really nice.
Oh, you got the Timeless.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a great cigar.
The Timeless,
Fiorentega.
yes, the Fiorentega Timeless.
Went really good with that milk stout that we had earlier.
Yes,
I'm looking
it did.
forward to seeing how it goes with the drink of mystery.
This smells oddly fruity and not offensive.
I'm not optimistic, despite if you watch the show regularly, you know that this segment where we say
The beverage of mystery.
I think I left in a phone thread.
You did.
Where we do the beverage of mystery. Only one of us knows what this is. It is the person what brung it. We'll try it and comment on it, and then we'll reveal what it is. I'm the person what brung it today. So
You've brung some really funny colors the past.
I have.
couple
We
of
had
times.
we had like neon blue
Yes.
last week.
Now this is some
It almost
sort of-
matches the color of what I
this-
brought you on.
It did. It does.
This is
Which I have
not
a feeling will be
offensive.
better.
It just tastes water.
It does taste a little watered
This
down,
tastes like you had some sort of
Smells like Febreze.
fruity drink, like even
Smell almond.
like red Kool-Aid,
yeah. And,
and then your glass, all your ice melted, and
Yeah.
you took a sip of it.
yeah,
So there's no sweetness left in it.
it's
Oh yeah, it smells like red Kool-Aid and it tastes exactly like you're right.
yeah. You're right. It's not offensive. It is also not carbonated. This is
No
This is
carbonation.
as flat as it gets, actually.
I can't tell if this has any alcohol in it at all.
Well, it does. I can tell you that. And to tell you more, I will have to wait for Ian to ask me the important question of the show.
Watered down Kool-Aid.
Well, the real question is that a beverage of mystery in your pocket, or are you just happy to be here?
Well, I'm very happy to be at For the Culture Brewing. However, the beverage of mystery is a vodka and soda cranberry day chaser.
I mean, if I had just mowed the lawn, I had enough ice, I'd chug that.
4.7% ABV,
Okay.
Okay, so beer ABV.
right?
And it's in a skinny can, so you know it's good for you and
That's
you're
right.
losing calories.
That's right.
That's right.
That's why I drink so much Michelob Ultra, because I'm a health nut.
Gluten free and no sugar added. I actually like that there's no
That's why
sugar
it's missing
added.
all the flavor.
Right. I do like that, though, because so many of these drinks have a
It
ton
does
of
say
sugar.
on here vodka with real fruit juice, natural flavor, and carbonation. I think they missed it on the carbonation side.
Yeah, either that or we had
But
to
I don't
sit
know
it
that
out
it
too
needed
long.
it really. This is this is not something I would reach for probably, but it's not as bad as some things we've had on here.
Well, it's definitely better than the beatbox.
It doesn't have the, what did you call it, carcinosweet aftertaste?
I think that was Terry that came up with that.
Carcinosweet.
Yeah.
Cinnasweet.
Carcinosweet, but
See, but like I say, if I had just mowed the lawn and I had a glass of ice and that, I'd chug it.
you'd be all right. Yeah,
I'd be all
sure,
right.
Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't. If I poured half of this into my glass at a party and tasted it, I wouldn't throw the rest of the can out. I'd
So I think it's got a couple things going for it. First off, there's no sweetness to it.
right.
So
which
you
I actually
can't
really like.
have that.
Yes.
You can't have that fake sugar taste, which kills so many things.
True.
The second thing is, it does actually smell nice. It smells like red Kool-Aid.
It really is kind of almost like a watered
And
down vodka.
it has actual vodka in it, so it doesn't have that industrial wine, alcohol-y wine thing going on.
Agree, and that's
So to be honest, if you're looking for something that's really light, and the flavor on it is a little closer to like when you get a hint water.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had one of those where it's just or like a LaCroix, but it's flat?
Yeah, water with a splash of flavor.
Yeah, it's got a little splash of flavor in there. Or even if you have some fruits in a water jar, and you like let it kind of infuse, it's kind of like that.
It's certainly better than last week's beverage of mystery.
Yeah,
That's for sure. All right, so
I can actually drink this.
yeah, so we've only got a moment left in this segment, so I want to start with this beer, and we will come back to it in the next segment. But this is one of yours, isn't
Yes.
it? And so tell me about this.
So this is a wine beer hybrid.
Oh,
So this is raspberry peach sangria with Belgian blonde, fermented at 2 different stages. So the wine was fermented in the beer post beer fermentation.
so right away, it points out how watery this was because the flavor just hits you right up front on the tongue and the palate.
I can already tell I'm going to need more to see if I really
So we'll
like
talk more about this as well when we come back at Smoking and Toasting. All right, we're back on Smoking and Toasting, and as soon as we took the break, as soon as the mics were off, everybody at the table was like, "Wow, that's delicious." I was like, "Well, say that on the show. That's what
It is. That is really good.
What is the name of this beer?
So I
Does
am.
it have a name?
It is called. I'm calling it raspberry beret.
Nice.
Oh,
But
until
it
Prince
is-
sues you.
Yeah. It is a note called a no beer. It is spelled EONO. It is like a Greek Italian hybrid beer where they will actually put grape must into the fermentation. So there's a few breweries in the States that have played with this. So I was looking for something
I've never had anything like this. It's absolutely delicious.
It's amazing.
It's got such a wonderful fruitiness, which obviously comes from the grapes and the wine part of this, but it still drinks like a beer, which is what I really like.
It doesn't have any of the drawbacks that you get from fruited beers,
Right.
which is sometimes too sweet, sometimes not beer enough, sometimes
It feels like with fruited beers, because of the sourness, they have to add sweetness to make it more drinkable. So you get that sort of sweet tart vibe instead of it being just pucker up.
also
sour.
the aftertaste is a bit like a nice fruity wine, and a little bit dry too. So it doesn't leave you wondering what's going on in your palate. It leaves you going, that was good. I want another sip.
What's also amazing to me is I'm smoking this spring roll or punch spring roll over here, just smoking that. And, not all the time when we're drinking beer in the show, we're able to smoke. And sometimes that really changes this is so opposite from this that it tastes wonderful. It seems like it just goes with any of these cigars because it's just an opposite kind of feel.
I would agree. It matches.
Doesn't clash with mine at all.
No,
So
not at all.
the idea came up because they lost their cider company that Houston Cider Company went under. And so Carl was going, I don't know what I want to have for the women that don't want beer. And I'm like, I think I got an idea.
Well,
A beautiful idea.
I was about to say this is perfect for, like my wife, for example. She'll drink beer. She likes some beer, but she's not really a beer person. She would love this.
Yeah.
This would be right up her alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the ABV on this?
6%.
No
Okay,
kidding.
so it's not even brutal. It's a little above a beer, but not
It's
brutal.
meant to be
Yeah.
nice, easy drinking, very crushable, enjoyable, have very nice flavors to
The
it.
nose is so pleasant.
all of it is the
There's
aftertaste.
such a
the
slight
finishes.
maltiness and then a bright
The
fruity
finishes
kind of
is
thing.
really-
That's that base of, so the mixture is 9 gallons of Belgian blonde and 6 gallons of wine lust, which falls underneath the guidelines of you can use up to 49% wine must in a beer and still be called a beer by federal law. So this plays a game with, they couldn't produce cider
Right.
because you need another license for cider to make
Right.
wine or mead. So
Well, I'm sure the
it's
state makes
still-
it real easy to get a license.
Easy. but
Yeah, just
on
send
one
money.
hand, but it's like over the last 3 years, it's gone from $750 a year to, I believe, $5,500 a year.
just to have the license to
Just
be
to
able
have
do
that,
it.
that one particular licensing.
It's almost like they said, what can we do to make it harder for small business?
That
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, but this is not a peak renaissance time for craft beer in many ways, and for the spirits industry as well. We're seeing a lot more people focusing on drinking less or not drinking at all. In fact, I'm opposed to the concept of dry January. If you want to take a month off from drinking, go for it. But the whole concept of now you're kind of supposed to, like that, who made that decision? We already have sober October. Did we need another month of that? And what I get to sing this guy's praises, even though I'm not a huge fan of the product he's advertising. But here's to Christopher Walken for doing those light beer commercials in the middle of the Miller Lite commercials in the middle of dry January, encouraging people to loosen up, have a beer,
Or maybe instead of drinking so much all the time that you feel like you have to take a month off, maybe just temper your drinking a little bit.
Back off that pedal a little bit.
You can bash that gas pedal so hard. You have something nice like this that, hey, I want to sit back and enjoy and drink this.
Or
and
here's
not-
a real novel idea. How about sit back and taste your beer?
Oh, yeah.
That'll change what you're drinking, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how can I do 10 shots in 1 hour?
Simple. Become a part of the staff of Smoking and Toast. That's how we roll. No, but the reality is that, like anything that goes through a surge, which craft beer absolutely did. It had this huge, upward curve. There were breweries opening all over the place, lots of things happening. And it's now in that sort of quiet down, come back to the mean time. And this happened in cigars in the 90s.
Yes.
There was a huge cigar boom. Cigars seemed to be everywhere. It got harder and harder to find cigars made with really good tobacco because the demand was outstripping the supply. So a lot of things were hitting the shelves too young and without proper, blending. But what happened when the whole surge kind of receded and came back to the mean was that we had a number of cigar companies who'd really gotten good at trying new things, experimenting and doing different things. And that's what I'm hoping is the case with craft beer. I mean, this is not the kind of beer that you would necessarily expect to be on the menu when you go someplace because it's so different and unusual. And yet the creative thoughts behind it and the end product that it produced are this this is great for craft beer that this beer right here exists.
Yes.
And I think that that's got to be one of the things, when you're brewing for a smaller, craft brewery like this one, you're looking to experiment a little bit. Am I right?
How small a batch can you get away with here?
Probably about 2 barrel. It was about the smallest batch.
Yeah, on the big system. But, we do have smaller pilot systems, that we utilize to get, 5 to 10, gallon yield.
Right.
So if you brew a 2-barrel batch of beer and it's outstanding, how long does it take that to disappear from your taps? How long does it take to empty those 2 barrels?
The ones that really, really fly, it's usually those will be 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, cool. And that's why, in my opinion, the one of the greatest things about the proliferation of these smaller craft breweries, like what you guys have here, is that I can come in and enjoy things and come back, several weeks later, and there's new stuff.
To give our listeners a little perspective, how many beers is 2 barrels? How many glasses of beer?
Ooh. Okay, let's think through that.
I was told there'd be no math, so I'm gonna sit this one out.
All right, pull out the calculator.
We're gonna let the professionals do
I'm
this
tapping out.
because I know they'll have an answer.
Because trying to let me.
Well,
think
how
through
much?
that.
How much
Carry
is
the
a
3.
barrel? Like in gallons or?
A barrel is 31 gallons,
Okay.
and
A gallon of beer is 128 ounces.
So you'd be looking at like 600-700 beers.
Yes.
See, I do that for Terry's benefit because I know he gets it at home all the time from his kids.
Just once.
And when he gets to the show, he's finally like,
Love it.
okay, nobody's going to be pulling that on me for a couple
My
hours.
son
here.
was upset last week that he didn't get to come on the show. He said, "You said you'd take me on show 467."
Well, tell him when we get to episode
My math head is not
number
working.
670, he will be our special guest. Yeah, that'll be it. I would say. And then he'll be old enough to drink. So,
Yeah, exactly.
no, so
Yeah.
that'll
Are you having mathematical issues over there?
Yes.
Let's see if we
What
can
would you
do
say
the
it was,
math.
If only we
128
had
ounces?
some portable handheld device that we could,
Yeah,
look
if I could
things
figure out
up
how to
on.
operate that.
Yeah, well, calculator is one of the
All
tougher
right, so
apps.
8
Yes,
beers
yes.
per gallon times 31
Yeah.
is 248.
8
Pours.
beers per gallon.
That's 16 ounces.
That's about 496 beers.
Okay,
per
so I was
half.
off a little bit with my
Times
perception.
2.
2 barrels. That's about 496.
All right. Well, there's not going to be that many left by the time we get through with today's show. I can promise you that. We have got to take a break, and we will be back to tell you about some cigars to watch for coming up next. Welcome back, my friends. It's Smoking and Toasting for the Culture.
Sometimes when you say "Welcome back, my friends," I think of that song "Carnival."
Yeah. The show that never ends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come inside.
think
Come
of it.
inside.
See, this is, again, Terry with the cultural.
Always knows.
Always
Always
there.
knows.
He's always there. I appreciate that. Our last guy that did Terry's job, all he said was, "Can I have some free beer?" There were no cultural additions to the program. Just like.
Speaking of beer, this smells delicious. This
All right.
smells.
So yeah, what are we drinking?
This
here?
smells
This
classic.
is on Carl.
IPAs were brought up, and so I figured we'd pull out an IPA. This is our junk in the trunk. It's the double dry hopped Citra IPA.
I love the name of that.
Dude, I not only love the name, I love this beer. This is wonderful.
Oh, this is a good IPA.
Yeah, and see, for those of you who are not as familiar with our show, I'm the IPA guy. I love almost all IPAs. There's been very few IPAs that I've tasted that I have not liked on some level. Ian, however, is almost like the anti-IPA guy. So when you get a vote of confidence from him on your IPA, you done good.
That means a lot.
Yeah,
Well,
you done good.
I remember I brought you Hefeweizen, and you went, but I like IPAs. Until you had the Hefeweizen.
Look, I never said I didn't like it.
My IPA journey started in the 90s when I was at a brewery in Galveston that my band used to play at. And me and the the guy that owned it, the brewmeister there, got to chatting every time I was there and loved beer. So I remember pulling in there one time and he goes, "Here, you got to try this." He puts a beer in front of me and it's sitting on the bar, and I haven't even sat down yet, and I can smell it. I was like, "What is that? That big floral?" Having no idea what it was at the time. And he introduced me to the IPA, and I took a sip of it, and it was so different and so beautiful, and the flavors just bloomed. And it was wonderful. It was balanced. It was everything I wanted it to be. And then IPAs started popping up at different breweries. It started to become a thing, and there were a lot of really good ones and some not. And then IPAs got into a IBU battle.
Right, where everybody...
And they multiplied like rabbits.
And and the only people that can make an IPA that great, that huge, is Stone. And still be balanced. Like, so many other ones were just not that good. They were just unbalanced. You taste like you're trying to pick the pine cone out of your teeth after you take a sip, you know? And so I just kind of burned out on it a lot. And so now I only really want to, when I drink an IPA, I want something that's incredibly balanced. This rolls up with a malty sweetness that's kind of outrageous for an IPA right up front, and then finishes with an unapologetic IPA snap.
Yes.
And doesn't leave your mouth bitter.
My IPA journey started much better, I think, which is one of the reasons that maybe I became such a fan of the style. But my IPA journey started when I lived in Boston with Harpoon IPA. And this actually really reminds me of that in terms of its balance, the floral nature, and the way that it gives you some of that hop snap on the end, but it's not an overly bitter or pine coney hop snap. This is really well balanced. It's not a hazy, but it's also not a pure West Coast either. It's somewhere right in the middle.
I would also liken to like the beers we've had today. You know, like sometimes when you pick up a device or a tool, you can kind of get a feel for the quality of it.
Right.
Like immediately, you just know, okay, this is made well. On first sip on everything we've tried today, you immediately get that this is everything quality.
This is right. There's quality ascribed to it. And I've got to figure that's maybe one of the most difficult things about not only homebrewing, because we've talked about this with you on the show before when we've been on homebrewing, and so many homebrews, like, I get the idea, but the balance isn't there. And you've shown us that homebrews can not only be balanced, but they can actually be like really delicious. And it's changed my whole perspective on homebrewing, because I always thought of homebrewing as just, this is the amateurs trying to do, but there's some great ones. And it's the same to me with this. It's like you've managed to find a balance here and a flavor profile that doesn't lend to any of the extremes.
But there's
it's
also
just really well balanced.
But there's also a difference too, and you guys know this. Like when you're brewing at home and you're brewing 5 or 10 gallon batches, right? And then you try to ramp that up to 2 barrels. Like the ingredients don't just go, you multiply it by this much.
Right.
It's not like that.
Right.
You really have to juggle the ingredients, and you end up with serious imbalances in a beer that you thought you knew a recipe for. So there's also the idea of taking a recipe that you've really nurtured at that level and then taking it to this other level and getting it right. That's a whole skill unto itself, I'm sure.
It is, and one that forever indebted to Miguel, because we were all brewing out of the garage at one point, but he really took the mantle and mastered, our system.
Kind of scaling it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that also being willing to, if something does go wrong, it's not like, hey guys, we're going to still sell this just because. It's a beer we had brewed recently, just had some issues. It was like a little phenolic. And it was like, can't do anything with this. And down the drain it goes, and it hurts.
Wow. Yeah, sure.
3.5 barrels down the drain.
That's all
First
the
of all,
ingredients and any amount of profit.
I'm always a little sad when I see any beer being brewed down the drain.
Right.
But add on to that what it cost you in terms of time and investment
for sure.
to put that all together. But there is a certain trial and error to all of this, isn't there?
Always. I think as going from home brewer to a larger scale, when you're in your garage and you do it, sometimes you'll be like, it's good enough. It'll still go where it needs to go.
It'll work.
We're gonna drink it anyway.
Yes.
But now on a professional scale, when you're trying to make sure that, customers from the novice to the experienced enjoys themselves, you want to make sure that everything is where you want it to be. You may not like the style, but you don't want anyone coming and saying, Carl, that was just disgusting. It was off flavors. This wasn't right. That wasn't right.
Explain. You mentioned that your beer was too phenolic. Will you explain what that means?
Well, part of the brewing process in this particular instance, we got a bad batch of yeast, and so everything was done to a T, but the yeast never took off. Then through the process, we got some additional yeast.
You try to save it and pitch some more yeast. Yeah,
but we believe that as part of the process, good yeast started. Either the bad yeast started trying to cannibalize bad yeast, or the good yeast started trying to also cannibalize bad yeast as part of the process, and then it produces that phenolic flavor, kind of reminiscent of Band-Aids.
Right. Okay.
Daniel, excuse me, Jerry. Pardon me.
Daniel's fine.
It is fine. I know it's
he has more than one name.
I know it's the
many of us do.
Connoisseurs of smoking and drinking, and I know he has his alter ego. So I didn't want to.
What's your name in the club?
Floyd.
Floyd. Why
How did you
Floyd?
get Floyd? He's geriatric.
Actually, it's Jerry Hattrick.
Oh, that's right. Jerry
Hattrick.
See,
Sorry,
that's
yes,
good.
Jerry Hattrick.
That's good.
So
I like that.
my name in the club is Floyd Pinkerton.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that. I'll just mention, by the way, as much as I love IPAs, not all of them, including many of them I love, work well with cigar. This one is not fighting the cigar.
I think the malt up front on this really helps that happen, and the lack of linger in the aftertaste too.
Hour 2 of Smoking and Toasting is coming. We'll be back with that next. Oh yeah, welcome back. I love that sound. Thank you for making sure that was properly mic'd. I appreciate that. Smoking and Toasting is the name of our program. We're all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. Talking a lot about craft beer today. One of the things I wanted to mention as Ian is pouring some spirits here for us, though, is that back in the 90s when the cigar boom happened, and things got temporarily too big, like there wasn't enough great tobacco and stuff. When the dust settled, though, the quantity kind of went away, but the quality came racing into the forefront. There were much better Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Honduran cigars on the market by the end of the boom, the cigar boom, than there had been before that. And I'm really hoping that that's where it all lands at the end of what we're experiencing now, which is a bit of a slowdown in the craft beer and spirits world. There's been so much experimentation. So many new things have been come up with, like our first beer that we tried. That's not a style or anything that I've seen or tried before. And so I'm hoping that as the dust settles here, we're left with far more interesting and quality beers and spirits, for that matter.
Yeah, the unfortunate side of it, though, is that the lack of sales right now is affecting everybody, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, if you're lucky enough to have the financial fortitude to withstand it, I think is what's going to be really the factor.
Before we get into this spirit and pairing it with this IPA, what are the toughest headwinds right now for small brewers?
I think the first would be, the rising costs.
Right.
Between
everything from cans to
your energy costs, almost everything. Permits have gone up with
when you say energy costs, just out of curiosity, I mean, we work in radio. There's hundreds of thousands of watts coming out of that. Is it a lot of energy to run these big machines that you have to actually brew, or is a lot of it just sitting there, just sitting there aging?
I think most of it actually relates to the cooling. The cold storage, glycol chiller.
I get
because
that.
realistically, on a month-to-month basis, we'll just say we're average around 6,000 kilowatt hours.
Okay.
For our usage, and from just last year to this year, it was time to renew. So our electricity, for instance, went from 4.5 cents a kilowatt hour to 8.5 cents a kilowatt hour.
Oh.
And I assure you, that's a great,
Almost doubling. Yeah.
It drastically changes things. When the cans that you may buy, the steel tariffs, they're up. They're up 12%. Grains are up, I think. Oh, let me not lie on that one. I can't remember, but it's up.
But it's up. Yeah.
So
it's changed.
What's the average price of a pour here at your bar?
Ours are $8 a pour.
So
it's 16-ounce pint, except for higher ABV things.
Sure.
Anything Imperial are up. Those are 10-ounce pours, but those are still also $8.
Yeah. So we're seeing the prices inch slowly up because it wasn't that long ago. Those probably would have been $6.
Absolutely.
Pours. And so we're seeing it inch slowly up. Do you think that it has plateaued, or are beer prices, not just you guys, but everybody, are they going to go higher still?
I believe that unless there's a drastic pullback from the suppliers, ultimately once maybe the new paradigm is set, they might be able to kind of settle in at where they're at. But nothing ever goes up and then comes back down. Generally speaking, it's like this is the new level.
Nobody goes into a boardroom and goes, "Hey, listen, guys, we can make a little less money."
Right.
Right. Well, just like what I consider to be the best tequila that I've ever had, which is the Jose Cuervo Reserva de la Familia Extra Añejo. The first bottle of that I bought was around $80. It's now about $180 per bottle.
Well,
still almost worth it, but gosh, the fact that I used to be able to get 2 bottles for that.
That first bottle of Skelly you brought in that we tried.
Yeah. That was a $38 bottle of tequila.
Yeah, $38. And then I went and bought one and it was $50.
Right.
And that was just less than a year.
It's
from when
around $100.
And now it's $100.
Yeah. And it's the same juice. It's delicious, but it's the same juice.
Yeah. And even craft 6-packs, they used to be $9.
Right.
And now they're $11.
Right.
Just like that.
And some of them even more.
Yeah, and if you're going for something a little more specialty, like I'll buy a 4-pack of Meridsu, and that's $17.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's Meridsu, and it's really freaking good.
The spirit that you brought for us today is a Heaven Hill grain to glass rye.
So
what did this cost?
You remember? Well, this was $100. The tag's right on $104.99.
Okay.
You remember the Bardstown that I brought last? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago.
Last week. Okay. So remember, it was pretty hot. It
cracking
was
my
coming in at
glass.
128.
At the top?
It was coming in at 128 proof, right?
Oh.
So this one I stepped down a little bit, and this one's only 126 proof.
Okay. Well, thank you for keeping our sobriety in mind here. I appreciate that.
Did you have a broken glass?
You did.
Yeah.
I did.
And mine is broken as well, but it's around the top area.
Right, it just keeps leaking out of there.
Yeah. So
Now I will tell you,
Sneaking out on
I've had a chance to try this already because as soon as I got it home,
it
my
smells
wife was
good.
like, "We're opening the rye," and because she loves the rye.
Wow.
And this is a little bit special, I think.
I think it is. Well, Heaven Hill, first of all, there's not a single drop of any Heaven Hill product that I've ever tasted that wasn't fantastic.
Agreed. And I found this at Lee's Liquor over on Navigation, I think it is, on the east side of Houston, East Downtown. And it's an interesting little store. The lady in there was super nice, and I was looking around, and she doesn't have a whole ton of
We got plunges in
a whole ton of selection there.
There
She
they are.
has the basics and things like that. But then she
got
had
another
some
draw.
of these grain to glass Heaven Hills, which are a little on the pricier side. And I thought, I'm going to go ahead and.
Does it have like a description of what flavors are in it? There's some fruit flavor that I can't tell, but it's got a lovely sweet fruit flavor.
Well,
in it
so
somewhere.
first off, I'll tell you my first impressions, and I'll read what it has on here. My first impressions are cinnamon and bubblegum. The bubblegum is even ahead of the cinnamon.
Yes.
Cinnamon.
I'm getting a little bit of
Cinnamon.
that bubblegum broccoli vibe.
yes,
Right.
bubblegum broccoli. Yes.
Bubblegum broccoli. He said. So it doesn't actually
Let's
say.
get a little bit of apricot.
Yes, something like that's it. It's something.
Yeah, there's-
like that
there's a
that
fruitiness to
has
it.
has a taste that's really good, but not. It's kind of unique.
Right.
So, since 1935, Heaven Hill Distillery has been dedicated to crafting the highest quality Kentucky whiskeys. This led us to start at the very beginning, the seed. Each year, our master distillers partner with unique corn seed varietals that grow best in central Kentucky. Each release is a testament to our continued commitment to quality, sustainability, craft, and honors the multi-generational partnerships that were built on handshakes, not contracts. So there's not a lot about what this is doing. 24% corn, 13% malt, 63% rye. And coming, I was a little bit wrong. It was 61.6%. So this one's only 122 and a half.
Bring the sweet
Only.
stuff
Only,
this week.
yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
The light stuff.
This is the light stuff
Yes.
from Ian's bar.
123.
Have you gone back to the IPA?
I have not, but I bet it actually
You
goes
need
well.
to do that because it's a thing.
Interesting how ryes and IPAs can go so well together.
And cigars as well. Isn't that nice?
Like I said,
That is
a bit
nice.
of rye in it as well.
Terry, too bad you're missing out on
so
this.
it has a little bit of the rye.
Yeah,
in
well,
it.
I just keep going back to the rye.
Well, if you had the IPA, you could taste the IPA and the rye and experience what we're experiencing over here.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know
So-
what this tastes like if you
Really-
go back to the rye. It's really good.
We talked earlier
Yes.
about
This brings out a lot of the hops in the
does.
rye. You can really kind of start picking it apart.
what is the name of this IPA on your menu?
That's called junk in the trunk.
Junk in the Trunk. I love it.
You know, when I had my band, the Blackout Vipers, I had, foretold in the future that we would have an album called Junk in the Trunk. And it would have like an old 78 Plymouth with the trunk popped open, and there would be, some black plastic bags and some duct tape and a shovel.
Yeah, I like it.
You know, the crazy thing is, if you go look at the sign and see what is actually, it is an old school with the trunk open. And
I love that.
Except they opted for not the dead body in it.
right.
Now all we need is an imperial stout called Big Bottom, and we're good. That's no charge for that.
No,
Well,
No
granted,
charge for that one.
the milk stout is called Voodoo Kitty, and I'll leave it to your imagination.
I like this. Well, we're gonna have to try some of that imperial stout.
You did.
Before the shows.
that was the milk stout from.
That was Imperial milk stout.
That was
Oh, okay.
so good. We didn't even talk about that one. It was
Well, we kind of had it before the show.
Right.
It was our show beer. So to
This is our
speak.
show primer, if you will.
Yeah. And,
Yes.
and it was delicious
pre-game.
and coffee centric.
A little bit of milk chocolate kind of note to it as well that was up front that was really nice.
That is one of my favorite beers out of here is that Voodoo Kitty.
Yeah, that's
And I had the pleasure of working with Miguel to brew that, and that was just such a fun day.
Well, here's another one I won't charge you for, but you guys should definitely do a T-shirt that says "I Heart Voodoo Kitty." That would be. I would buy one right now.
There you go.
Right now, yeah, that would work. I'm interested to know about the process involved in naming something like that, or naming this IPA Junk in the Trunk. Like, is it just like, do you sit around and drink some of it and go, what should we call this? And the best idea wins? How do you figure out what to name these?
Initially, it was definitely a lot of brainstorming.
Yeah.
You have it crafted, you drink it, and honestly, you're trying to think of something that's catchy, that someone comes in and they say,
Oh, that sounds
that's
interesting.
funny.
Let's try that. Yeah.
Like our rice lager is called Rice Baby.
Oh, see, I like that.
Nice.
I like that.
Nice.
It's like, for those of
Nice.
us old enough to remember that period in time, you're like, I see where you're going with that.
Who would have thought, by the way, that all these years later, Vanilla Ice is still performing based on that one song.
Yeah, but you know what the funniest thing is? If you've ever seen That's My Boy with Adam Sandler, he plays Uncle, I can't remember what he called him, Uncle Vanny. And then when he grows up, he realizes, like, we got to go see Uncle Vanny. He goes, he was Vanilla Ice this whole time. It's great. It's his Vanilla Ice's performance in that was excellent.
Well, it's good to know that he did something.
He did something else.
Yeah.
Well, he had a show that was really big for a while, flipping houses.
He flips houses. Yeah.
Oh, and he does these different parts in the what is it? The Wrong Missy. He does a part in that too.
Yeah. Well,
the Saturday Night Live guys love him.
My favorite is at the end of that show when he's flipped a house and he's made some money, makes a couple $100,000 on the house.
He did that.
And he looks at the camera and goes, "Word to your mother." To me, that was like out of that whole like 90s, 2000s, like, bad rap era. "Word to your mother" was the definitive statement from that.
Oh my God! It's like watching Jim Carrey mimic him in Living Color.
Was great.
Just excellent.
Oh my gosh.
That was great.
My favorite in Living Color skit ever was when Jim Carrey was doing like one of the televangelists, and he was like, "Are you down with OPP? Perverted preachers." I'm going to have some more of this Heaven Hill grain to glass because this is good stuff. And we're going to take a break, a couple of segments away from drinking news. And I promise you cigars to watch for. We will get to that next. It's Smoking and Toasting. Ah, yes. The lovely sights, sounds, and smells of Smoking and Toasting. You know what? I really want to do this show in smell-o-vision. If they ever perfect that technology.
Do you remember they did that one time?
Smell this.
They did that one time. I can't remember if it was The Simpsons or what, they had an insert in the paper. And then if you got the insert in the paper,
I think it was a
you could scratch and sniff the different parts of the show.
I love it. That's so good. Speaking of so good, we've had some amazing beers already here at For the Culture Brewing, where we're on location in Houston, Texas. What is this beer that we are tasting now?
This is a Kolsch.
This is a lovely little lacy Kolsch.
I recorded a commercial voiceover years ago for a brewery that was introducing a new Kolsch, and it was a crisp Kolsch. And I couldn't say crisp Kolsch fast, so I had to pause, but crisp Kolsch. And I endured relentless teasing and hazing over my crisp Kolsch.
Soup.
But that's what this is.
You remember
crisp
Friends? Soup.
Yeah.
This is
Crispy Kolsch.
beautiful with a little bit of like apple almost in the note.
Almost like a
Crispy like
slight
green apple.
sweetness, and tartness to it. It's
It is
wonderful.
by far one of our more popular items.
Oh, I can see why.
My German friend who is from Cologne, Germany. Absolutely.
In Cologne, in France?
No,
No.
Germany.
No,
it's
it's
German.
German.
Okay.
Cologne is the root of Kolsch beer.
Yeah, Henning is.
So that's where it comes from. He is just fanatic about this beer.
It's really good.
Yes.
Again, you got this malt wonderfulness up front that rolls into this nice crisp finish with a slight bit of like a Granny Smith apple right there, just a hint of it.
And I'll just mention, I think it's that maltiness, but going back to the rye, totally works with this, even though this isn't an IPA, which is what we usually try to pair with
Let's
rye.
go ahead and point out that this rye is good. We're going to keep going back to this for the rest of the show.
It is very good. It is.
I do think we have a barley wine coming up, so we'll go back to it after that.
Yes,
for
we
sure.
will.
Some cigars to watch for. 5 years ago, a cigar maker that I've never mentioned on this show before, named AJ Fernandez, was
Never heard of that guy.
He was tasked by Altadas USA to create a Nicaraguan version of the Romeo and Julieta Reserva Real line. And he did, and it was the Reserva Real Nicaragua, and it's a fantastic cigar.
Outstanding, yes.
Well, they've asked him to do it again, and in mid-March, we'll be seeing the Romeo and Julieta Reserva Real Nicaragua Profundo. an all Nicaraguan cigar cloaked in a dark wrapper made with tobacco grown on AJ's farms. Like a lot of the Nicaraguan brands from Altadas, the Reserve Real Nicaragua Profundo is a collaboration between AJ and Rafael Nodal, who's the vice president of product capability for Tabacalera USA, which, again, I have to say, why did I not know that was a job? When I was in high school talking to my guidance counselor.
Guidance counselors never
would
told
like to
us.
know. Anyway, it's a medium to full-bodied blend defined by its dark, extra fermented Oscuro wrapper, and it comes in 4 sizes: a Robusto, a Toro, a Magnum, and a Churchill. And the prices range from about $11.25 to $12.75. They all come in 25 count boxes.
So all premium, but not super premium.
Yeah, right. And I appreciate, because listen, Romeo and Julieta, if you look at the brands that AJ has created for different cigar lines, the Romeos are usually $1 or $2 more per cigar than, say, the Upmans or some of the others. So it's what's interesting about this is it uses a purple band, which is meant to be a reserving of a merging rather of the original Reserva Real red band with the blue band that's found on the cigar that he did for them before. So that's something to look forward to. Also, in 2011, Alec Bradley launched a new series with a very specific goal in mind. It was named Fine and Rare, designed to kind of push the boundaries of blending by incorporating 10 different tobaccos in every release. And for the next 8 years, they release a new blend every year. But in 2020, that changed when they released 5 of the former Fine and Rare editions in a set to commemorate the line's 10th anniversary. But in any case, 3 months ago, they announced the newest release in the line, the Fine and Rare ANB 228. It's a 7x50 Churchill, and like the previous releases in the series, it uses 1 wrapper, 2 binders, and 7 fillers. Wow. The wrapper's from Honduras, and it covers 2 binders, 1 from Honduras and another from Esteli, Nicaragua. And then the 7 fillers are from the Dominican, Nicaraguan, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Mexico. 2 from Honduras, 2 from Nicaragua, all amounting to 10 different tobaccos in
That's
the
an
blend.
interesting thing because there's a school of thought that 3 countries is about as much as 3 countries is about as much as you can get in your tobacco.
And
before it starts getting confusing.
So here you've got Dominican, Nicaragua, Honduras, and Mexico.
Yeah.
So that's 4. So it's an adventurous idea.
No, but I guess there's always exceptions to the rule, and I don't know that I haven't experienced that rule well enough to the exceptions to that rule well enough to say yay or nay. But I know we've had conversations about that before.
One more bit of Alec Bradley news that I think you will be personally excited
I do like
about.
Alec Bradley.
They have released their cigar-themed barber pole cigars for St. Patrick's Day. The Filthy Hooligan and the what is the other one? The Filthy Hooligan's the first one.
Yes.
And then anyway, I think it's 2 different iterations of the Filthy Hooligan is what it is. Anyway, look for those. They're on the way for St. Patrick's Day, which we'll be celebrating by drinking green beer and smoking Filthy Hooligans somewhere. Okay, drinking news is next. We will be right back.
Oh, and don't drink green beer.
And there's barley wine in our future.
In the beginning, so the story goes.
Welcome back, my friends. It's Smoking and Toasting. Before we get into drinking news, which is this segment, something interesting just popped up during the break, and that was, and I didn't realize this before, but it makes total sense that you actually worked as a strip club DJ. Yeah. So, what was that? What was that like? Like, can you give us any interesting stories from your strip club DJ time?
Get your dollar bills
that we can discuss on
the
broadcast radio?
main stage.
Oh my God.
Diamond.
So, I think the most hilarious act I ever saw was we had a feature entertainer, and
A feature entertainer.
yeah, feature entertainer.
That
And
means
mind you, this was in an all-nude strip club,
Oh, well, there you
Featured
go.
entertainer.
and she loved to do her act to the Phenomena song.
For the funk phenomenon. Yeah.
No, not funk phenomenon.
No. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Phenomena.
Phenomena. Oh, okay.
Phenomena.
I thought you said phenomena. It's phenomena.
Phenomena. While she had the Bert and Ernie hand puppets.
No.
Right.
And they aren't even the ones that did Phenomena.
I will just admit I'm slightly aroused right now.
Yes. As were mostly customers, it was her most popular act that she did the week that she was there. In fact, we were repeatedly asking her to do the phenomena. It's like, yes, let your imagination run wild about where these hand puppets went.
Yeah.
Phenomena.
Oh, God.
I just want to mention
Phenomena.
there are a number of different shows out there that deal with, whiskey and cigars and different things, but you're not going to get this kind of insight on any of those. This is all smoking and toasting.
There is not a show that goes in about the things you can do with hand puppets.
That's right. We're a very puppet
Hey,
friendly
Jim Henson might have actually liked that. He encouraged for adults to enjoy the Muppets.
It'd be creative. It'd be creative.
Very true.
Yes, it was like the most hysterical act I ever saw. I mean, we laughed for hours, and to this day, still do not stop talking about what I saw on those nights because it was just hysterical.
The only thing I think that could top that would be a really primo edition of Drinking News, and because we're doing the Florida report today, I'm very excited to think we might actually get there. Ladies and gentlemen,
You're piquing my interest.
it's time for Drinking News.
Drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news. A Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his other arm, he said,
I had to take my gator to the vet.
drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all.
He's still
Cheers.
trying to figure out what he got himself into.
It's all part of the adventure.
All I wanted to do is publicize my beers and my brewery. Well, today's edition of Drinking News is not, in fact, brought to you by Florida's next exciting tourist attraction, Sloth World, opening next month on International Drive in Orlando. Guests will be able to take guided tours to see, and I'm not making this up, sloths in a rainforest habitat. In case you're concerned, Ben Agresta, the founder and president of Sloth World, says, not to worry, the sloths will not be climbing on you.
Bummer.
And not for nothing, but even if they tried to climb on you, if you're a person that can't move fast enough to get out of the way of a sloth, you probably should plan on skipping this exciting new attraction.
Apparently sloths have pretty gnarly claws, though.
And just in case you're wondering,
100-yard dash.
I did not make this up. Sloth World is a real thing.
Sloths are very popular now after Zootopia.
Yes,
Zootopia came out and flashed the sloth. Now the sloths are the greatest thing. And of course, he drives a Ferrari.
Right.
Yeah,
Or a Lamborghini,
of course he does, yeah. Well, we're also most definitely not brought to you by the Florida Man
Florida man.
in Pasco County, Florida, who claims to be the state's #1 freelance sperm donor.
Didn't see that coming.
The twists, the turns.
Beautiful play on words, too. Apparently, this Florida man...
Terry just got that.
Apparently, this Florida man simply leaves the samples in his mailbox where interested women can just drive up and, pick them up.
What is this like? Is this like Happy Gilmore 2 where Steve Buscemi just pees in the mailbox?
Yeah.
Can I use your mailbox?
By the way, the show is now complete. We have a Steve Buscemi reference.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
But even though we're sponsorless, we can still pass along to you some of the past year's most ridiculous stories from the Sunshine State in this Drinking News Florida report.
Florida
Are you serving these up by the cup?
Yeah, like the woman from Holiday, Florida, who was caught at 11:52 p.m. going 107 miles per hour on US 19 in Palm Harbor, where the speed limit is 55. She explained to the deputy who pulled her over that she was racing to get to Little Caesars before it closed at midnight. What jury would convict?
Yeah, come on
Sometimes a girl needs a...
Or another Florida woman, a firefighter from Orange County, who was accused of throwing 100 tampons that she'd painted red onto her ex-boyfriend's lawn. Try explaining that one to the cops.
Glad they were just painted red.
Listen, my friends, Floridians are nothing.
Wait for them to dry.
Floridians are nothing if not creative. Just listen to this list of items that various Florida men and women were arrested for using as weapons in 2025. A cheeseburger, cheesy nachos, a plug of chewing tobacco, a banana, or as my British friends like to say, a banana.
A banana.
A pizza, a pizza box, a conch shell, some silly string, and a dildo.
Okay, now wait a second.
All used as weapons.
Outside of two of those things, anything you can put in your mouth is a weapon.
Hello, man.
I guess it would depend on how big that dildo is.
Well, we've reported many of these stories in the last year. Now put that thing down or you'll put someone's eye out. But it wasn't just the criminals who made Florida news last year. Even the cops grabbed a few headlines for themselves.
Florida cops.
Like the Lake County deputy who had to resign after he crashed his police cruiser while watching porn on his phone. Good luck answering the "so why did you leave your last job?" question in your next employment interview.
Slightly distracted.
There is some twists and turns to that.
He crashed his police cruiser?
Yes, while he was watching porn on his phone.
Was it not on the big screen on the cruiser? Right?
No, just on his phone.
Just on his phone, yeah.
Finally, though,
He was having to squint to see.
Yeah. Finally, though, there's the story of a thief on a skateboard who rode through Wilton Manors, Florida, and made off with a sea cow statue worth more than $5,000.
That doesn't sound like a small statue.
Where the hell do you sell that?
Sea cow.
Not only was it no ordinary sea cow statue, but it was reportedly decorated with a rainbow pattern, a multicolored hue, if you will. Now, as is so often the case when I'm
That's not what they call that anymore.
Yeah, when I'm gathering these stories from Florida, though, this last one in particular is so unusual that it has caused me, once again, to become just a little bit inspired. And as those of you who listen to this feature may unfortunately already know, when I become inspired, I like to express myself by jotting down a few verses of poetry or prose. And if it's all right with you, or quite frankly, even if it's not, I'd like to share those with you now in the form of another very dignified drinking news poetry reading. If I could get a little poetry reading music, please. And it goes a little something like this. He may enter a plea of insanity, this skateboarding Florida man, you see. Although we do not know how, he stole a rainbow-hued sea cow. And we can only exclaim, "Oh, the humanity." Get it? The manatee statue was rainbow-colored, so it had a hue. Never mind. The last line came from my dad, and I tried to explain to him that if you have to explain a joke, it loses a little bit of its humor. But, you know, it is what it is.
We just got to keep saying it over and over.
Reporting live from Florida, where I can't believe it's only January and I already need to apologize for this segment. But hey, at least I didn't rhyme manatee with Sean Hannity. That would not have been cool. Anyway, my name is Cruz, and that, my friends, is your
Drinking news, drinking news. That's our time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. I was expecting a little more of a high note on the end.
Or were you waiting for this?
That's what I was waiting for. Yes, thank you. It's hard to do that on the ukulele, though, in fairness to Ian, who is a...
Well, I have a...
I was looking on Craigslist, by the way. There is a band looking for a ukulele player. I don't know if you're looking for extra work, but...
Well... Ukulele is something it's a moonlighting opportunity for me.
It's a very specialized talent.
It is indeed. Speaking of specialized,
I don't want to sell out, if you know what I mean.
I understand.
I don't want to be a ukulele sellout.
Yeah. Like all those other ukulele sellouts who've gone before.
Come on now. Next thing it's going to be pan flute.
That's right. When Ian
With
releases
Zamfir.
Chilean pan flute.
When Ian releases his pan flute album, I will be waiting at midnight at the record store to buy it.
Exactly.
Just like in the old days.
Yeah.
Just like in the old days. So our next beer has already been placed in front of us. I've been showing great restraint by not moving to it yet, but I know Ian, my friend here on the end of the aisle, has no concept of restraint.
I'm sorry, were we not supposed to already finish that?
No, Jerry.
Finish yours, Terry? Oh my God, Terry's glass is empty.
Were we not supposed to finish that already?
I thought Ian was the big barley wine.
That's why he keeps moving back to the rye.
That's right. Ian, your thoughts about this barley wine?
I'm for it.
Okay, so this barley wine is for the Culture Brewing. What does it have a name?
It's called Bayou City.
Bayou City.
This is a slightly Americanized barley wine. It's a little hoppier than what you would consider like a traditional or English barley wine.
But ordinarily, that brings you to not like it as much.
It does, but it's not that hoppy.
Well,
It's
only
just
because
a
it's
little hop
aged
snap.
for 2 years.
Wow.
So the
so
the
up
hops
front,
the hops have muted a bit.
so up front, you get that beautiful sweetness. You get a little bit of bitter caramel, which is really interesting. And and you get definitely the date, kind of raisin date kind of note to it. And then it finishes crispier. Like it almost took me back at first because it finishes crispier than you'd think. However, instead of being a huge right up front hop note, it's a little more subtle than that, and it leaves a little bit of a crisp finish, but it also leaves a little bit of coffee in the mouth.
Yeah.
And
definitely some coffee.
And so, while I generally don't like American style barley wines, this one does not cross that line. Like to me, Bigfoot is way too much hops. Like that one is like when you take a sip, you don't get the warm, wonderful flavors. You get hop stuck in your mouth. This is not like that.
Which is one of the reasons he's so grainy in that video. Too much hops.
Too much hops.
Yeah.
Too hoppy.
Too happy.
I love this.
This is really nice.
Now, it isn't quite as dank as some of the more European barley wines or English style barley wines. The little bit of what am I looking for? The bubbles, the
carbonation.
The carbonation. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word.
It is a little more carbonated than.
Well, but it works in this case.
That's the thing is that I am huge on carbonation. I love carbonation, and a lot of the barley wines are a little less carbonated, and I like the carbonation.
And carbonation, a lot of times on the tongue, you who brew beer know this, can add a spiciness to the flavor. It sometimes translates to a spiciness almost on the tongue. And it's interesting because it's a faux spiciness. It's not really spicy. It's just the carbonation dancing on top.
Carbonic acid gives a snap to the beer.
Yeah.
And you want some acidity. So,
but judging by the fact that I'm on my last sip of this beer, it's a pretty darn nice.
You're not complaining much.
Way to catch up.
Those of you who are watching in the on the video portion of the program, and I see this on your glass as well as mine, it's kind of a chemtrails thing going on there with a little.
It's called lacing.
Little lacing that stretches straight up.
That tells you about the quality of the carbonation of it. This nice little lace that it leaves behind is just really beautiful.
And we clean our glasses.
Which is important. It's super important.
For those
like
of
to
you,
clean our
for those of
glasses
you who don't know
50%
this about like brewing beer, how clean you keep everything has everything to do
Well, you've
with
said
how
before,
well your beer turns out.
most home brewing is like 10% brewing beer and 90% cleaning
Yes.
stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Clean and sanitize, and if you've cleaned and sanitized it, then clean and sanitize it.
Yeah. I think this is a remarkable beer. And it's just interesting to me. We've tried so many kind of unique and, a little bit unusual beers here, but they've all been very, taste-wise, something that I think could appeal to almost everyone who likes beer. In other words, these aren't these random out there kind of flavors that only appeal to a small group. So we'll talk more about that when we come back and what it's like to have to navigate the current issues facing a lot of brewers. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back, my friends. This has been a really enjoyable episode of Smoking and Toasting, at least for those of us who are here at For the Culture Brewing. If you're listening, you're kind of on your own.
Sorry about that.
What can I say? But we've enjoyed some amazing beers, and you brought us one more here for our final segment. What is this?
This last one is a beer we call Golden Grill. It's a Belgian Golden Strong.
Ooh, that's got some flavor.
Oh, you're talking my language here.
Yeah, this is. So
I forgot to tell Carl
I love this.
how much Ian loves a Belgian Golden Strong.
I love
all right, so
Belgian style ales.
Because I wasn't trying to suck up. I didn't know that.
yeah, so
Well, you did it by accident.
By accident.
right.
It's happenstance.
So what makes a beer a Belgian Golden Strong?
Belgian.
Well, it's Belgian yeast. It's a style, and it's going to be fruity. It's going to be big, and it's
This
going
is
to
both of those
and it
things.
may have a little bit of funk to it sometimes, depending on the
This isn't too funky.
style of it.
Yeah, so ours isn't too funky.
Yeah.
But, the Belgians love their candied sugar, and we thought it made for a good beer.
A little bit of that funknomina.
That's a great name.
This is almost like there's almost like a candy coated chocolate kind of flavor to it.
It's a great
Am I
name.
just tasting chocolate today?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're tasting it in this because it's definitely on the finish.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah. You're singing Ian's song here. This is kind of right up your
I
alley.
want to talk about every beer we've had today has been fantastic, has been outrageous, and like I stated at the beginning of the episode today, sometimes you just pick up something and you can kind of feel the quality in it. This at every sip, you can feel that the lacing. Look at how ridiculous the lacing is on this glass.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I love it. This has carbonation. You can see it moving around in there. You can see it bubbling up. But the carbonation on this versus the barley wine that we had has much more carbonation than this. And this right here has little tiny carbonation that feels like silky almost. Mm-hmm. So it's like having the right carbonation for each beer makes a big difference on how it drinks.
So I just went back to the rye after sipping this Belgian Golden Strong.
That's what I had in mind for you.
And I don't want to make this whole show about bubblegum, but wow. This is bubblegum broccoli paradise here.
Bubblegum broccoli.
Going back to the rye, I mean, it just accentuates that whole bubblegum sensation on the palate.
Oh, it does. It's funny because it moves the cinnamon right to the back of the palate.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost adds a little bit of heat to the whiskey.
So in a time when craft beer is struggling a little bit, trying to find its way into the new era, what's your advice for craft brewers at this point? How to get through this? What's the best strategy for emerging on the other side? Maybe even a little stronger and more adventurous.
I think for the ones who have been, established significant amounts of time to keep leaning into what you're doing, and what's working. I think that helps significantly. Additionally, I think being sort of hyper localized. helps. Like we have a ton of
part of your community.
We have a ton of events from grunge concerts, rock concerts, game nights, run clubs. We really reach out into the community and try to seek that. Like Thursday, we'll have our friends with Clutch City Cruisers. They'll be here. Or Thursday, I guess that's the 14th, 13th, 15th, excuse me. They'll be here that evening with their bike crew. I think things like that you have to really lean in because unfortunately, no matter how good your beer is, with people's current attention spans, it's just not enough anymore.
Right, and there's so much out there trying to take that attention.
Absolutely, and so if this was 08, 09, you have great beer and everyone is beating your doors down, but it's sort of shifted the paradigm a little bit.
Do you think that producing beers that Ian loves or that I love that are, maybe a little bit extra adventurous and becoming kind of known for that, does that in any way harm you with being able to reach a broader audience? Is there a need for a very accessible, Miller Lite alternative, let's say, to be able to crack the code of growing and getting larger? Or can you appeal to the real, aficionados that want things like your pretty amazing American barley wine?
I think you have to have a little bit of both. Believe it or not, by far our best sellers are like the Pilsners, the lagers, the Kolsch.
Yeah.
They move crazy, in the grand scheme of things. But I think that for the more nuanced craft beer drinker who is like, well, I've had this. Like, I love listening to you gentlemen talk. You can talk about blends on cigars to blends in whiskey to blends in beer. It's beautiful. So what you're talking about and what you like and what you don't like. And I think being able to have options that offer that help, because those individuals come in and say, well, wow, like I really like this barley wine. But if you do venture to something else, you're also like, but they're hitting the notes on this well because you understand it. And for people who just like beer that tastes like beer, if you will, they're like, oh, I love this rice lager.
Well, one of the things
you've got like 16 taps up there, right?
Yes.
And we've just scratched the surface. What do we have? 5 beers today?
Yeah.
So we're 1/3 of the way into your beers here, and every one of these has been excellent.
Do you guys do flights?
Yes, we do have flight options.
And do you think that's a good thing for people to be able to sample different things, or should people just go ahead and get, a glass of like what would you recommend to people who are coming in and looking at your beer menu and saying, what should I try?
I think the flights are a fantastic option.
Yeah.
One, as a business owner, it's helpful because although we in no way, shape, or form mind giving samples, but it's nice when you can reasonably charge for that sample. Be like, hey, here's a 5-ounce pour, 4 different things. You try what you like. They come in these lovely muffin tins. And you can say like, hey, I like this, I didn't like this, and something, that might encourage you to come back. As opposed to, even though we will offer the flight, a sample, obviously that's free. That's just a little free, like here, taste it, see what you like, which we would do because we want to make sure that whoever is leaving here leaves a happy customer and not have a beer that they don't like. And even in addition to if someone gets something they don't care for, we're more than willing to say like, hey, that didn't hit the mark.
Right.
Let's try to see if we can find something else. That you
Ian,
like.
do you have a favorite of what you've sampled today?
Oh, this Belgian is real nice. I loved how different that wine blend was. That was on things that I've never tried before. That's way up there. Is like that was fantastic.
You know what reminded me of is some of the Dogfish Head like crazy collaborations with Flaming Lips and stuff.
It reminds me a little bit of Clown Shoes, kind of like how outside they can be.
Oh, that's a throwback.
I love.
So a lot of things to continue to talk about here, but thank you so much for inviting us to be here at For the Culture
thank
Brewing.
you as well.
And if you've never made it out here, show up out here. taste the
It's
beers.
good. Yeah, absolutely.
Being their biggest fan, come out here, show up, have a beer.
Just the northeast side of Houston inside the loop, though. Or northwest, sorry, my fault. Northwest side of Houston inside the loop.
Thank you guys for allowing us to come in and sample and for your generosity with these wonderful beers. And until we see you guys again next week for Smoking and Toasting, cheers.
Cheers.